CROCO.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Croco's Review. You can check this out on either Croco's Corner or as well as that Squad Nero podcast. Today, I just wanted to do another quick manga review for you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining again. Before I get started, I do want to say to you guys, make sure you check out our podcast on Sunday or Monday evenings, usually around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when we will be doing the Squad Nero podcast. You can view it from YouTube and also Twitch. Today I'm just going to be kind of diving into a review for a manga that I have started reading more recently. It's a relatively new manga referred to as Asura's Verdict. It is a series that is it's very simple. I do want to make sure that I kind of put that out there. This is not going to be something that has a high level of intellectual value, I would say. But it does have a story that I personally want to see more of. Until I do learn more about it, I just feel like I personally cannot drop it. So I wanted to talk to you guys about it. It has been very enjoyable for me. Asura's Verdict, again, is the name of it. Just to give you guys a quick overview of Asura's Verdict. Asura's Verdict follows Asura, a boy who believes in doing good and that evildoers will be punished. He, even when he is bullied, he is offered a key that can open the gates of HE double hockey sticks. Don't know if I can say it on YouTube, so we're just going to say that. By an old man. The story explores Asura's journey as he grapples with his powers and his own sense of justice, particularly in the face of suffering and perceived injustice, potentially leading him down a path of extreme measures. So this guy, this young man, he has this key. Yeah, he has this key that is supposed to do these wonderful things for him when he is in the worst possible state that he possibly can be in his life. And it is really weird. I just quick little impressions for you guys. It's really weird. The guy, we'll talk about it a little bit more as this video goes on, but the guy has this key that he actually sticks into people's foreheads. It's very weird. That is probably the weirdest thing about the series. Everything else so far has been pretty tame, like pretty normal in terms of like the world and the things that happen in the world. This is the only thing that is weird in the world, and they did not fall short at all with how weird the actual principle is of this action that this young man takes to exert his own form of justice. Again, he has the key that he is able to do these things with. Whenever you hear this, whenever you hear this, that is Asura's key now. That is no longer DJ Khaled, but that is DJ Asura's sound whenever he uses the key. For me, whenever I do a video on Asura and Asura's Verdict, so be on the lookout for that. Yep. Anyways, I'm just gonna kind of dive in. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired and I'm a little silly. I get a little goofy when I'm tired. It's been a long day, but I am gonna just dive right into this series. My favorite aspects of this series so far is the mysteriousness that is presented in the series. There's a lot of elements that are left vague. Typically, the way that it goes is that they will just have like what I guess I would view as a major moment in the series that happens, whether that's something involving a new character that's introduced or something that impacts Asura, and then it'll just go to the next new moment. There hasn't at this current point been like too much downtime around that. That's just more or less how it seems. It's just consistently you are getting events that are leading to Asura having to use his key. Again, it's a very simple concept for a series. It's a very simple series. It's not anything that's overly or outwardly super intellectual in regards to. But I will say the fact that it does have that mystery is something that I do enjoy, because as we keep getting these moments, we keep getting these instances where it's making me have more questions. And each and every moment that has happened so far leaves me with more questions. And they seem to be unpacking those things shortly as the series continues to progress forward. So, we didn't really know much about exactly what happened, and now we know a little bit more. 15, 16, 17 chapters in, now we know a little bit more. So they're doing it very gradually in regards to how they're giving you more of the lore, and they're giving you more of the circumstances that led us to the events that we are currently in with Asura. So I do personally appreciate that, and that's probably the leading reason why it's going to keep me with this series, is because once you start to read Asura's verdict, you're going to want to know, okay, what exactly is all of this that's going on? Why exactly is all of this going on? How exactly should I feel about all of these things going on? And those things, again, are left very vague, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding it. To essentially, what I imagine is just to do exactly what it is doing for me, at least, which is to keep you into the series. So I do appreciate that. I don't know whether it will hold me for the long run. I do hope that it does hold me over for the long run, but I don't know whether it exactly will. Going into Asura himself, I'm gonna kind of skip around here and what I have, but I will come back to some other points that I want to talk about. But Asura is walking trauma. Okay, this kid is a ball of trauma. It is not. There's nothing short of trauma with this kid. Between the life that he is currently living, it is a very traumatic life that I would imagine any child would have to live. He's constantly bullied. He's just he doesn't seem to have that many friends, or if any friends, at the beginning of the series. All he has is his family. And I don't want to talk too much about that because that would be spoiling a little bit for you guys, but um he just doesn't have a lot of support. He's constantly getting bullied. The bullies that he has is the absolute worst bullies that you possibly could have. And yeah, as you see on the screen right here, this is exactly how he inserts the key for people. So if you were curious exactly why I said it was weird, this is exactly why I said it was weird. But one of the biggest things that I think is worth stating for Asura is that, without spoiling anything for you guys, Asura did go through a major traumatic event in his life. And personally, what I have noticed, and especially when speaking in regards to his trauma, is that it appears, I'm not a therapist or a psychologist or psychiatrist, but it does appear that what Asura is doing is dissociating this event that happened in his life, this loss that happened in his life, with his sense of not only justice, but his sense of positivity amongst the world. And I don't exactly know what's going to come from that, but it is something that is a major catalyst to the various actions that Asura takes once he does have the key. That is something that I would say is a major point to the story, that also driving factor for the story that keeps me at least engaged with the story, because I just don't know exactly where things are going to go with this extremely traumatized child who's trying to essentially exert his sense of justice with something that is all powerful, as far as everybody in the series who has seen it and everybody who's reading it can tell. So another big theme, obviously, with this is the bullying aspect. That is typically one of the worst injustices that a child can experience in their childhood. It is the one that Asura is experiencing, but I will say this: it doesn't seem to be something that appears to only be happening with Asura. I'm not gonna go much further than that because I do want this to be as spoiler free as possible. But yeah, look at on the screen. This is a twisted kid. Look at his face there. That's why I wanted to include this image on here. I mean, that kid looks like he is broken, okay? I don't know what else you can use to describe how he looks right there, but, that's the part that's keeping me, is I want to know exactly how far is this going to go, and is there going to be any course correction, not only with his sense of justice, but course correction in how he processes his trauma. To give you an example, one of the things that I do want to kind of double back on here for a quick second, is, again, I don't this is kind of giving me like something similar to like a Death Note. I would say like Death Note light, again, because it's not a very intellectual series. But I do wonder if this is gonna be tragic like Death Note. Again, there's so much mystery in here that right now it is presenting itself as a series that likely could end in tragedy, but I'm not exactly sure if that's actually going to be the case or not. um One of the things that that is very conflicting for me about the series is, this child is handed ultimate power, and he's very traumatized, so his sense of rationale is not something I'm sure any of you can imagine you would sympathize with. I don't myself. I think that it is very wrong. There's a lot of flaws in regards to how he's thinking, but the realistic side to that is, I would imagine, again, that would be the case for any traumatized child. But the part for me that I would say is more or less conflicting is the actual people that he is choosing to do this to. I mean, they not again, I don't necessarily agree with Asura's methods in regards to him making the ultimate decision for these different people. But whenever he does complete this act of sending people to the realm that he does, he always says at the end of it, that person is no longer of this world, so they can't cause any more harm to anybody in the future. And I don't, again, it's conflicting because the people aren't good people. They just genuinely are not good people. They're really, really bad people, at least so far that we've seen. I wonder if that's something that's going to change or not. But at this current point, they are people that are very bad. Give you an example, and this is the only moment where I'll just kind of say spoiler alert, spoiler alert. So we'll play his little sound. Okay. That is my sound for Asura for his spoiler alert on this video. In the beginning of the story, right? There's this moment where one of the group of bullies that he first kind of encounters with the key, they unalive his dog. And Asura does his key thing, and he ends up sending them to that realm. He says this little phrase, but the thing is, I'm sitting there thinking about it, and it's just kind of like, all right, well, his phrase of they can these are people that would have caused more harm to the world and now no longer can cause any more harm to the world, along those lines. It's like, all right, if somebody is unaliving a dog, statistically, the chances of them becoming a serial unaliver is relatively high at that point. So even though his judgment is something that is spurred upon by his trauma, the rationale in that case doesn't seem too far off. I don't know, again, if I would agree with his choice that he made. I don't think that he should be able to make the choice that he made. No, that's not right. But his rationale in regards to it, statistically speaking, I don't know. So there's instances like this that have happened with the people who he has chosen to send to this other realm. And it makes you conflicted because it's like, that this kid is traumatized. You know that this isn't something that he necessarily should be doing. But the examples that he's done them with thus far, again, it's like, all right, well, it could have been worse, and he could have chose somebody who was less deserving, to put it like that. I don't know. It's something where I love that it prevents that confliction with the people that he targets. I love that it presents the mystery in the way that it has. I love that it starts us off with this trauma that we don't exactly know exactly how deep and how volatile it is. We just know that it exists. And these are all things that make me curious as to exactly what we need to expect, or what we will be able to expect with the series, and that's what's been keeping my interest. So for anybody out there that does like the things that I've described in this video, please make sure you go and check out Asura's Verdict. It's something, again, that I Just I'm not gonna, again, the best way I could describe it is I'm not gonna stop it until I see more. Once I see more, I'll go from there. But thank you guys again so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Please make sure to do that for both Croco's Corner and Squad Nero podcast. Again, we have live shows every Saturday, or excuse me, every Sunday. Woo, that's the tiredness stepping in. But we do have new live shows every Sunday or Monday, usually not both, but or Monday, around 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if you are available and free and just want to drown in some nerdy comic book, anime, manga, pop culture conversations and discussions, please join myself, T Smooth, at Smooth Entertainment on Twitch, Sage, and Heavy D / Nasty Nino for that review and time, just going over those subjects and manners in whatever form or fashion we can. Outside of that, again, please go make sure to like and subscribe this video and our pages and channels, whatever is the proper term to use there. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. If you've made it through to the end of this video, and if you've tuned into any of the other content that we have put out before, please look forward to more and more new content. I'm going to be trying to do more reviews like this for things like Centuria, things like Kagurabachi, things like Trojan X. Those are a little bit more on the upper echelon for me personally. So I wanted to talk about those things at a later point, but still, please be on the lookout for more content. And thank you guys, as always, for just being a part of our crew and joining us for this audio and visual journey. Take care and have a great day.